PAS2. Oh, snap. Okay. Oh, shoot. See, I am such a freaking bozo. I knew eventually I was going to do this. I've officially logged over 850 miles on the K6 Pro Max. And in this video, we're gonna see how it holds up over long-term use. Welcome back to the channel. We're actually a few miles more than we started at the greeting because we had some thunderstorms come in and I had to get home in a hurry. This is again just to show what I like about the K6 Pro and why I think it's a pretty good bike. In fact, I dare to say a great bike. And if it's something that you're considering buying, maybe this video can help you out. Now, this isn't going to be a comparison. I'm not comparing it with any other bike. I had a video where I compared it to the K6 Pro 2.0. And in that video, I pointed out that the 2.0 is a lot faster, like 10 miles an hour faster than this bike. And it has integrated turn signals. But other than that, a lot of these bikes are similar, with the exception of the display. The Max that I'm riding here has an upgraded display that you can see in any environment. Direct sunlight, in the dark, it doesn't matter. You can see it fully. Now, I am going to point out that this is not the best bike on the market, and that's not what this video is about. And it's certainly not the worst by any means. But one of the things I like about it is that it does everything that it does very well. Again, it's not great at everything, but it is very efficient and effective for whatever task you put it to. And by all means, it definitely excels in some of these areas that we're going to be looking at today. Now, of the 3 e-bikes that I've had, this is the only one with a torque sensor. And I love the torque sensor because I get to actually ride the bike like I want to ride it. When I was first looking at e-bikes and I saw what you could do with the throttles and everything, I was like, all right, well, if I'm going to get an e-bike, I don't envision myself pedaling at all. You know, I'm just going to ride around like a little moped or whatever scooter. And yeah, the first bike that I got had a cadence sensor. And yeah, you can pedal. I mean, by any, you can definitely get some exercise, but your pedaling is going to be restricted by the pedal assistance settings. So like if your PAS1 goes up to 10 miles an hour, but you want to pedal slower than that, any pressure you put on those pedals is going to take you up to that 10 miles an hour. Whereas with a torque sensor, you get flexibility, you get options. Like right now I'm going 13 miles an hour in PAS2. If I wanted to, say for example, get more exercise, I could go down to PAS1 and pedal harder and still maintain that same speed or even faster. I'm not restricted to any speed. I mean, except for what the controller will put out, but I'm not restricted to a certain set speed with the pedaling that I'm doing. You can see here, I can go fast. I can go up to the speed limit of 20 miles an hour in PAS1. Of course, now I'm coasting, but you get the point. So you get a lot more flexibility in how you can ride the bike when you have a torque sensor. So let's say, for example, I just want to pull the throttle in PAS1. The most it's going to go to is between 6 and 7 miles an hour. Of course, we're going up a little incline. And if I want to, I can pedal that slowly. You just saw me pedaling at 20 miles an hour. Now I'm pedaling at 6 miles an hour in the same PAS setting. So that's an example of the energy efficiency, because if I had a cadence sensor and was pedaling in PAS1, and for example, 10 miles an hour was the cap, the max speed for PAS1, then it would be going 10 miles an hour regardless of how much pressure I'm putting on the pedals. And that's one of the advantages of a torque sensor over a cadence sensor. So again, you can really control how much exercise you want to do. You know, and I kind of, when I'm doing like long range riding, one of the things I like to do is pedal out and throttle in. You know, so I kind of do a mix of both. That way, by using the pedal out, I'm getting that efficiency that if I'm tired or what have you, I can throttle on the way back in, just to have that option. I don't always do it. Sometimes I find myself pedaling, going on rides, and you know, before I know it, it's 30 miles in. Now, one of the things that a lot of bikes are doing now is putting both a cadence and a torque sensor, giving you the option of both. Because yeah, there may be times where a cadence sensor is going to be better for you. Maybe you don't want to pedal hard, you know, maybe you have hip, knee, back, whatever issues, foot issues, and you know, plantar fasciitis, something that I found out that I've had. And you don't have to pedal as much with a cadence sensor as you do with the torque sensor if you're going to be, like I said, putting a lot of pressure on. Right now, I'm just pedaling very casually. You know, as you can see here, I'm now coasting down this grade at 10 miles an hour, but I'm not putting out a lot of energy. Might sound like it because I've been on the couch all week. You can see it's been raining, a lot of thunderstorms. Let's get up here and talk a little bit about the power of the K6 Pro Max, and hopefully we don't get hit with a thunderstorm. All right, so we're at the base of this hill. Hopefully you can see up there, little creek where I caught my first fish this season. I haven't done a lot of fishing this season. I'm going to record what I'm doing with my new smart glasses. It's wet, it's been raining, weather's been sucking. This is not going to be a good day for off-roading at all. All right, it's at 56%, but because I shot some video earlier, I'll include it in this video, but I'm gonna press that, start recording. All right, so what I'm doing is, and I'm so paranoid, guys, I put my wheel lock on, but what I'm doing is I'm going to measure the grade of this hill the best I can at what I think is its steepest point. Now, this says 10%. We'll have to see. I mean, because I could swear it's steeper than that. And I know there's a difference in percentage in the grade. I guess I'll have to look that stuff up. Hey, 15% right here. And lastly, 15% again. But there's still more to go. I just don't feel like walking up anymore. It's steep, it's long. Whee! And now we're gonna see the bike just push up this hill and try to do it in PAS2. I don't know if I'll be able to do it in PAS2, but we'll see how it does here in a second. Now, I could try up here. It's wet though. Yeah, this gets a little gnarly. 28%. And I know the bike can come up here. It's just that, oh, it's a mess. 23%. I'm gonna have to definitely do this another day. 25%. Looks like it gets even steeper up here. Portions of this where you know that's 40 right there if you get caught on that. And I feel like I'm about to fall out my sneakers. So yeah, either way, very steep up here. And I'm gonna see if I can get back without breaking something. Dude, where's my bike? All right, we're here. Man, I'm hot. It is hot. I'm sweating buckets. We're gonna get this done. Sun is starting to come back out. Just got some raindrops on me. All right, so let's go ahead and knock this hill out. Release the brakes. PAS2. Oh, snap. Okay. Oh, shoot. See, I am such a freaking bozo. I knew eventually I was going to do this. Came all the way down here, had my water, had everything, and look, I'm trying to ride with the dang lock on. Oh, and I bent the rotor. Wonderful. So now I got a bent rotor, and I think this ride is gonna be over. Yep. Yeah. I got a bent rotor, guys, because I'm an idiot. And I'm hoping you're seeing this. See what we can do. Oh goodness, this ride is over. I guess it's right here that's bent. Yeah, there's no way I'm gonna straighten this out. It's gonna be rubbing the entire time. I'm starting to take off and I'm wondering, like, why isn't it moving? Why isn't it moving? I'm not gonna be able to get that in. Such an idiot. Well, there goes all the tests for today. I'm gonna be riding home with a noisy rotor, but I gotta go this way anyway, so let's at least do this hill test. Surprisingly, it's only making a little noise. I might be able to get it out. But point being, we're in PAS2. Front wheel is skidding a little bit because it's so wet. Kind of lean forward to undo that, but yeah, no problem getting up this hill in PAS2. And I'm the greatest idiot in the world. But at least you'll be seeing me make another video when I replace the rotor. All right, I knew I was gonna eventually do that. That's why this wheel lock comes with a tether. That's exactly why this wheel lock comes with a tether. But yeah, it didn't rub that much. We'll see how it does out here on the road. Goodness gracious. Self-inflicted wound. All right, see how much you can hear this. I guess while we're at it, might as well talk about the brakes. Going back down this hill, oh man. Yeah, you can, it's not always, sometimes it's not always grabbing on that spot. Man, I've put this bike through so much. Like, see right there, I'm grabbing it, it's grabbing at a point that was bent. So it wasn't pulling it the whole way. But you can see it still grabs. Yeah, so it's real wonky. Like, you can feel it rubbing. You can feel the vibration in it. Obviously, when it grabs, it grabs. But if you're just riding them, for example, you can feel that vibration spot. So I don't know, I'll maybe take the rotor off and see if I can bang it straight. And then if not, I'll buy a new rotor and replace it. I mean, it's not sounding bad. I thought it, would be terrible, but thankfully I had those vice grips and was able to straighten it up a little bit. But yeah, you can definitely feel it rubbing. I mean, feel the warped part. Man, I did not want to come back here when it was wet. But here we are. Make sure everything else still works on the bike. So when you pull the brake, I mean, it feels sketch. And if I didn't know why, I would just turn around and be going home right now. I'm gonna see how much of this video I'm gonna be able to get done. That just goes to show how durable this bike is. That's the way I had my bad crash. So I'm gonna go this way this time. I don't come this way often. And this is off-roading that I think probably any bike can do. It's when it gets very technical, that's where this bike starts to excel. Of course, you want fully effective brakes for that. I think I'm going the wrong way. Or am I? I don't know. All I know is these brakes feel like crap now. I think I'm going this way. Yeah, so far I've bent a derailleur and now a bent rear rotor. But we're still rolling. So I want new pedals, something with more spikes. Oh, this is disgusting. And I need new tires. Because as you can see, that was fun. I've got 850 miles plus on these, and I think that's enough. They feel worn, and I've been sliding more. But I still think they're good tires. But all tires have a lifespan. I was gonna take this thing up into Lake Fairfax, but yeah, this is gonna be the extent of my off-roading for this video. Too much has happened already. And now I feel like I'm about to go into the creek. Snap. Okay. I think I can go this way. So I'm basically skidding up this hill. I hope I didn't bend anything else back there. I gotta see how exactly it hit and where it hit, just to make sure that nothing else is bent. I mean, it feels like it's riding fine. Gee, dang squirrels, boy. So I'm operating on rear motor only just to make sure that that still functions properly. Alright, so I just tried to bend that rotor back and it's not looking good overall. And so I'm just gonna ride back home and call this a video. I don't hear it at all right now. Braking is, you can still feel it a little bit with the brakes. Maybe I bent it enough for right now. So while we're here, just talk about the riding experience itself. On road, it's a comfortable ride. You can still hear that rotor rubbing a little bit. When I get home, I am going to take the rear wheel off and see how much I can straighten it out even more. But I will be buying a new rotor. And doing even more work on this bike. There's electric. It's Euybike Day. I wonder if anyone's telling them that they can't ride their e-bikes on this trail like they like to do with me. So it's definitely a comfortable ride. I sit straight up when I'm pedaling or when I'm riding. When I was doing my range test, I put the seat down a little bit more because I knew I wouldn't be doing as much pedaling. I like that the display is easy to see, even in the shade, like we're in right now, or in direct sunlight. Doesn't matter. You can always see it. The controls, the bike controls are easy to use. On my right side here, you've got the trigger shifter for the derailleur, which I almost never change. I did replace the derailleur because of course I broke my first one. But that's one of the good things about this bike, is that parts are going to be easy to replace and pretty much readily available. So again, the suspension, you can adjust it. And when you're on pavement like this, it's definitely comfortable to ride. I wouldn't call it a commuter bike per se, particularly because of the fat tires. And I like that the handlebars give you space that you can add things. See, I've added a bell here where my right thumb is, over on my left thumb, my turn signals, and of course, my phone holder. And underneath here, the bag is currently holding my batteries. Well, currently holding a lot of stuff. And then you get the trunk area, of course. You can put a pannier bag back there or any trunk bag. And you can tackle just about any hill you're gonna come across. That's one of the great things about this bike for me in the area that I live. It's very hilly and I can come across a hill at any moment. And I like knowing that I'll be able to tackle it regardless. I don't have to worry about it. Now, even though we're not doing it right now, this bike is very capable off-road. And by off-road, I don't just mean grass, right, or sand. You know, I'm talking about like blue level technical tracks. You know, stuff you would ride an e-mountain bike on, or even a regular mountain bike on. You know, you can ride this on because it can go up those very short, steep inclines. So yeah, it's very capable in that regard. And the fact that it's only 83 pounds helps it when you are off-road. You know, it's much lighter than an e-moto that's gonna run, you know, 120 plus pounds. I never knew this came out right here. Interesting. And at 83 pounds, it's lighter than some scooters, a lot of scooters. So it's really not a heavy bike for its size and its durability and its abilities. You know, it's really not a heavy bike. I do recommend that you check your bolts, particularly after you do off-road riding. I have had some loose. I've had one come out. I'll show you where. I'm gonna pull over right here because I know I'll forget any B-roll. Right there, I had to replace that bolt. There's two of them. And I looked down as I was checking it one day and one was gone. So, screw underneath for the folding mechanism. Always make sure that's tight. As I've mentioned in previous videos, I followed, I don't know his name, but Shoot the Chit. That's his YouTube channel. I followed his advice from an older K6 and used a pipe wrench to tighten that bolt down. And ever since, I haven't had it come loose. And that's partially because I haven't folded the bike. I haven't had any need to fold the bike. So yeah, definitely a very capable off-road, on-road bike, versatile in however you want to ride it. And we're not going to get a chance to really see on this ride, but it's easy to do 40 miles on this bike with no range anxiety at all. I did 38, I think it was 38 on my range test, and I think there was like 24% to spare. But I also did some PAS 3 to 5 off-roading on that same range test, and I did a lot of throttle on the way back, so I could have gotten more life out of it. You know, I did some pedaling one day and it was 30 something miles, and it didn't feel like it at all. I told my wife I pedaled at least 25 of those miles and I hardly even noticed it. So yeah, torque sensor is good for that as well. But again, that's what adds to the efficiency, is being able to pedal and take some of that power responsibility away from the motors. And I like the battery that it's concealed. It is, I think, LG cells, and the 3-amp charger makes the charging very predictable. You know, I pretty much know how many hours it's going to take to charge it. And once you get into that top 10%, the slowing charges down, so expect that. I guess last thing I want to talk about is the design of this bike, because it is very unique among e-bikes. I think it looks great personally, especially when it's clean. Oh man, that blue, the way that it glistens. I've gotten a lot of compliments from young and old. So yeah, it's a very, very cool looking bike. So just the last thing on this design is that it reminds me a lot of my last dirt bike that I built myself in 1984 from some parts procured by various means, some of which I choose not to talk about. Anyway, nah, they weren't stolen. My buddy Jason helped me with the frame. Had an oval tube Huffy frame. I had blue Schwinn handlebars, brakes, and wheels. It was real cool. It was a cool bike. This bike reminds me a lot of that one. And that was my last dirt bike. I think I got rid of it like when I was 15 or 16 and got my first 10-speed. So yeah, it's just a cool looking bike. I like looking at it. I mean, it's like, it's not every other e-bike or any bike. It's unique design, and I think that makes it very special. Again, I do like that the battery is concealed, so you don't get as many Karens staring you down. You get a lot of pedal watchers around here, making sure you're not riding an e-moto and they see a battery on there. Oh, it's automatic red flag. So the fact that it's concealed and has working pedals, it gets rid of some of the busybodies, but of course not all. And it doesn't look like every other bike that's out there. I just feel like every other bike either looks like a moped style or a cafe style or mountain bike style. You know, they all kind of look the same. A lot of them anyway. On your left, I know there are some like Rabid and others that have unique designs also. I said I didn't want to compare any bikes, but there are plenty of other bikes that have unique designs, but then they'll have exposed batteries. There's a lot of deer out today, like later than usual. I kind of forgot that my rotor's bent. It hasn't been an issue for this ride back, and it's kind of making me think I can just keep going. And I might just do that, finish this video and keep going for a ride, because it's doing just fine. As long as I'm not going on anything super steep, I can go on the main roads and be on relatively flat terrain, so I don't have to use the brakes as much. I know some of you thinking, that doesn't sound safe. I mean, again, they work, right? The brakes work. That time it didn't grab where it was bent, so it worked just fine. If I'm riding the brakes, then I'm gonna feel it vibrate. Okay, so my final thoughts on why I think the Euybike K6 Pro Max is a great bike. Well, it's a great overall value, right? $1,500 bucks. You see a lot of bikes in this price range, and I see a lot of bikes in this price range that I would not buy for various reasons. I mean, they might have great specs, and you get down to the battery, it's 48 volt, 15 amp hour. So yeah, it's just an overall great value. It's very versatile, on-road, off-road. You know, again, would I use it as a commuter? Probably not. You know, I wouldn't use any fat tire e-bike for a commuter bike. You know, they're not as efficient, they're loud, they don't store as easily. So yeah, and they're gonna be bigger if you're gonna bring them on like buses or trains. You know, I wouldn't use any fat tire e-bike as a commuter, but versatile for just about everything else. I do wish that it had more security with you know, on and off. Like you would need a code or a key or an NFC card, but you know, not having anything and As you saw, I just used my wheel lock ineffectively and paid a price. And I know I didn't really have to lock it up there. I was just kind of do it because I'm super paranoid. But yeah, I paid a price for that. So yeah, it's a great bike that can do many things well. But deliveries, commuting, probably not so much. But if you just want to have fun on an e-bike, this is definitely something to consider. And I should say, if you want to have fun on an e-bike that has great specs, this is one to consider. I mean, you got the dual motors. You know, they say they're 1,000 watts a piece, but it's a 30 amp controller, and there's only one. And at max, this battery is going to be charged up to 58.8 volts. And you multiply that times the 30 amps, and that gives you 764 watts total that's coming out of the battery into the wheels. So it's not 3,000, and of course you divide that by 2, so it's 882 watts per motor and not 1,000. But regardless, it's still 200 Newton meters of torque, and that's the important value, is the torque that you're getting from those two motors. So even though the motors may be capable of whatever they say they're capable of, what the battery puts out and what the controller allows is a different variable, and that goes with all e-bikes. So just wanted to share that piece so that you know, yeah, you are getting dual motors, you're getting a lot of power, but you're not getting all the power that the bike is capable of, because the controller does not allow that. Whether or not you can replace a controller, that's something you'd have to ask Euybike. I have no interest in any of that. I don't want to even open it because I don't want to mess up my warranty. You get the full suspension. You know, I have changed out the rear suspension with a 650-pound shock that I like much better. That in combination with the Cloud 9 seat suspension, it makes it an even more comfortable ride. I'm sure you can hear that brake when I'm not moving as fast, but it's literally quieter than the wheels I hear on a lot of e-bike reviews. Because right now I don't even hear it at all. So that's the second time I've had a issue while out and been able to fix it while out. One, because it was fixable, and two, because I had the tools. So I would always recommend you bring your tools with you, whatever you're riding. Bring the tools for that bike, and perhaps, you know, some of your own. Okay, well, that's gonna do it for this video, guys. I appreciate you watching. If you've got some value out of it, please hit the like button. Again, we'll have a couple more videos at least on this bike. At least I plan to. One to replace the tires and one to replace that rear rotor. So thanks for joining me on this one. And until then, get out and enjoy the great outdoors. See you on the next one, guys. All right, we made it back to home base. Total 871 miles. So I did do a little bit more riding. Went a total of 20.2 miles over, well, again, 2 hours and 48 minutes is irrelevant, really. But as far as battery percentage, it should be in the 60s. Wait till this connects. 67%, 20 miles. But I honestly did a lot of throttling in PAS 3 and 5. I was just up on the main roads. I didn't have my camera attached or anything like that. So yeah, I think I did like 9 miles after the test, something to that effect. So you can see where that is after 20 miles. But honestly, sometimes I've gone 20 miles and I've still had green up here because I've done a lot more pedaling. But that's going to be it for this video. Here's the last look for this video. On the way back, I almost forgot completely about that rear rotor. It didn't give me any issues, except when I finally got up here and was rolling it slowly, I could hear it. So It's just banged up, and just gonna go ahead and get it bent back for now, and then I'll order a new one and replace it. But here it is. This thing still keeps falling. I keep putting washers on it, but it's not working out. I just used my ramp to get up the steps, and that's because I didn't feel like muscling the bike up. All right, thanks again for watching. See you on the next one.